welcome to the Pretty Twisted Yarns YouTube channel. My name's Teresa, and this is my little corner of the universe where I chat all about my knitting and yarn dyeing and crafty things. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I have some finished objects, some works in progress. I have some acquisitions, not yarny acquisitions, but knitting related acquisitions. I have some shop news, so let's just dive right in, shall we? I am going to start with some finished objects. I have some socks. These pair of socks I made on my Erlbacher Speedster circular sock machine. I have a 64 stitch cylinder and I do have an equal slot ribber dial. I went live on Instagram to crank these and I had attempted to do 1x1 ribbing and it got all stuck and I was like, what the heck? Of course I'm live on Instagram and can't do anything about it. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna frog this. Thanks for stopping by. But when I went to use my ribber again, I was like, something feels weird. And it felt weird when I was live. When you're live, you know, you're not really thinking like, you're just kind of like, what the heck, you know? So I learned something new about my machine. I had taken my machine apart to clean it. And in putting it back together, the stitch length for my ribber got put to like 0. So I was really excited though to learn something new about my machine and be able to fix the issue. But what I ended up doing, because my ribber wasn't working, which is actually a user error, ended up doing a hung hem, which is perfect. It's totally fine. I enjoy a hung hem. And I just did stockinette for 50 rounds. I did a short row heel, which is what you do on a circular sock machine. And you knit down and I Kitchenered the toe. And I have 2 pair finished objects. Yay! So this colorway is a colorway that I dye here at Pretty Twisted Yarns. This is called Mulled Wine. And this is dyed on my Stardust base, which is super duper sparkle. Lurex. It's not Stellina. Lurex holds up really well in the dye process and looks great against like darker colors. I just absolutely love it. The more sparkle, the better. Listen, put some glitter on it and just go dance, okay? Like if you're having a bad day, put some sparkle socks on and like you're instantly gonna be brightened up. Throw some glitter in your hair and it's gonna be fine. I promise. Makes it all better. I'm a fan of the sparkle yarn. Okay. So yes, Mulled Wine also, I'll show you the skeins later, but this colorway is gonna be available in my shop, ready to ship tomorrow, which is Friday, May 20th. If that's wrong, I'll correct it here on the screen. I'm pretty sure tomorrow's May 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll talk more about shop news later because I have some crazy exciting big announcement news. Big business, okay? Not small business, big business. Big things going on, people. Okay. My next finished pair of socks is also a colorway that I dye here at Pretty Twisted Yarns. And I also cranked these. I feel like I need to show my mouth because I can't caption on here, but I cranked these on my Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie is what I named my circular sock machine because it is bright pink and I love it. And it's my soul animal. Anyways, this is, I figured out what was wrong with my ribbing. So I was able to do a 1x1 cuff. I do an E-wrap cast on. And if you'd like to see a video, like not a tutorial, but maybe like a video of me just like showing you my machine, because I've gone live on Instagram, but maybe just explaining a little bit more about like what it does, because I have had quite a few questions about my circular sock machine. Let me know and I'll try to make a video. Like, I don't know how good it will be, but I'll try to make a video showing you Pinkie Pie. Anyways, then I just did vanilla socks, and this colorway is called Sunset Cliffs. It is very sunsetty. I think it's like, it reminds me of like an autumnal sunset, like an October sunset. I am from San Diego, California. I lived in North County most of my life, but then we lived near the beach in Point Loma, and there was a spot called Sunset Cliffs. And it was just like the most scenic, gorgeous San Diego spot. I mean, it was just cliffs. And my husband and I had our engagement photos taken out there. And my daughter Haley, who's now 18, she was like 4, because she was 5 when we got married, and she was in our pictures. So I had put a poll on Instagram saying like, what color combination should I dye next for non-self striping, like for a variegated or speckled colorway? And I got a lot of different like people, and my friend Andy the Knitress, who if you do not follow on Instagram or here on YouTube, you definitely should. She has a shop opening called Naughty Knitress, and follow her on Instagram for her story. But she had the most amazing job at Naughty Lady Yarns, which was a yarn shop local to her, and she absolutely like loved her job. And it was the most amazing thing to just hear this beautiful woman speak about like how much she loved her job. And unfortunately the shop closed. So she is opening an online store and saving and working so hard, what seems like around the clock, to her dream, I believe, is to open a physical store. So follow her. This episode is going to be tangenty because I'll show you like my stuff, but it's so important, I think, for us as makers to support other makers, because these like independent, you know, small business people, they're just like regular people who have a dream and they're going for it. I don't even really know where I'm going with that. And, you know, it's not just Andy, like, or just me at all. Supporting small business is so important because you never know who you're going to inspire. It's crazy to me that, like, people are like, hey, you inspired me to do this. And I'm like, that's terrifying. I inspired someone to do something. But you never know. Because I might think, like, a lot of times when I do these podcasts, I'm like, everybody already knows about this or technique, or everybody already knows everything about sock knitting, but that's not necessarily true. So support small, all that jazz. But look at this color, you guys. Oh my gosh, I cannot even stand it. It's so pretty. So finished object, like ends woven in, blocked, dry, the whole 9. It's actually not my only finished object. I'm calling this finished, you guys, but I do have ends to weave in. This is my Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West. I cast this on in May. Like, not a couple months ago, May, like a year and 2 months ago, May of 2021. I cast this on. It's humongous. It's a schlanket, and I love it so much. It has an I-cord edge, which I love. This pink colorway I dyed in 2017. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I know like the dye that I used, but I don't know anything else about it. But this is all MCN, so I think it's 80-10-10. Superwash merino, cashmere nylon. Love it so much. These colors, I don't really remember, like, because it's stripes, right? So I know there's stripes in here that are Woolen Vine and Primrose Yarn Co. They did a collaboration years ago. So I was super glad to be able to use these yarns together. And then there's some Legacy Fiber Arts in here. This section right here is Legacy Fiber Arts. And I don't remember like all the sections and stuff, you guys. I finished this when I was in bed with shingles. And I swear to you, 2 months passed by. I have so many things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't show this. Oh my gosh, I didn't thank that person. So as stuff comes up, I'm just gonna show it to you. Because it's just, I was in constant like flaming hot fire pain for like 2 months. So the days just, like, I don't know where the time went. And I'm just trying to play catch up still. So I apologize about not having like all of the yarns and that. But you guys, I finished that shawl. It's not a sock. It's not a sock, it's a shawl. It's not just a shawl, it's a schlanket. And I am gonna wear it like a crazy person. Cause who wears schlankets in Florida? This is why I love knitting socks. Because number one, they can be the craziest of colors and that's the best. If there's like an imperfection in them, it's a sock. Also, it's cold in Florida inside. You're going from AC to AC to AC from your car. Maybe you're in the hot, humid armpit of the earth for like 5 seconds. And so you run into your house and you're in the air conditioner again. So it gets chilly. Like I wear wool socks in the summer inside. So I will snuggle up. How will I even wear this? I will snuggle up on occasion, you know, at night in the air conditioner with my wool. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be the craziest episode ever. I keep looking down because I got a new phone and it has like a fancy schmancy camera. So I'm trying to use the front facing camera so I can't see myself on my phone. So I have my iPad right here screen mirroring it. But look, I don't even care like how crazy it is. Where's this other tail? Like I could wear it like this and I could just tuck these ends in and pretend they don't exist. That way I don't have to weave them in. That's fun. Super fun. Or I could just pretend they're tassels. It's a design feature. I'm gonna edit some of this out because that was too much. It's a little too much. It's a little too much, Teresa. So yeah, it's a May. Oh no, I said I cast this on in May of 2021. It was March, because yeah, it was like a year, it was over a year ago. It was a year and 2 months. But listen, Linda, I have dyed a lot of yarn, and that counts as crafting, because that's hard work. And gosh, oh my gosh, I gotta get these ends woven in. So, okay, this reminds me of something that I needed to share and say thank you to somebody for. When I had shingles, I had so many people reach out and send me nice gifts and like cards of support, and Michelle of Naughty Knitwits. I'm not gonna like show you the little note that she wrote in here, but like a handmade card. How cute. I used to scrapbook a lot, and like, oh my gosh, people I've never met who I watch on YouTube, and I'm like, she's just like, can I have your address? And she sent me the cutest little package. So inside are these wool needles. I've never used these to weave in ends before. So I'm gonna use these to weave in the ends on my Vertices Unite. And I am going to, I don't know, I don't think they are, I don't think they're sharp enough like for weaving in ends on a sock. But these are by Knitter's Pride. And some of the stuff I already took out of here. She sent me like one of those little handy tool hook, has a crochet hook on one end and then like a knitting needle on the other end for fixing mistakes, put in your project bag. And like all of these little cub stopper ball minis. And I'm gonna weigh them. I don't know. I might put them in like some kind of crazy scrappy sock project or a scrappy blanket, which I have a few of that I haven't touched forever. A little thing of soak. A button. Okay, and it's Caitlin Birch Glassworks, and my daughter's name is not spelled the same, but my daughter's name is Caitlin. Thank you, Michelle. You naughty nitwit, you. Okay. There was more in here, but I had taken some of it out when I was sick and used it, so I'm not really sure what else was in here, but it was like the nicest little gift, nicest little package. Okay, cool. So this, I'm always like, I'm gonna do like finished objects, whips. I'm so unorganized. I have a little bit ADHD and I get distracted really easily. So for me to like, I'm really organized with like my yarn dyeing, and I'm very particular about like how I package it and all this. So that energy from me goes into that, which I think is more appreciated by my customers than the effort I put into like the flow of my podcast YouTube channel. And you know, it just is what it is. Okay, so I got a few. I'm just gonna, okay, finished objects is done. I'm gonna do acquisitions. I got a few things from my most favorite online sock knitting shop. Hashtag One Stop Sock Knitting Shop, the original, established June 2021. You guys, I got me a tumbler, and I'm drinking some water because I'm trying to be more hydrated. So I have this full of water, Crazy Sock Lady, and let me just show you something right now. Is this not perfect? It's perfect. And then I can just be like, my Crazy Sock Lady mug, I'll just put it over here, no big deal. I got some other things from Crazy Sock Lady Co., my favorite shop for sock knitting and all knitting needs, really. I got some cable needles because when I was really sick, I did a yarn, like a stash auction, where I put some of my yarn up, and people bid on it, and then I sent it to them, and that was a way to help me sort of like recover from 2 months of lost work and regain my business and be able to stay in business. So my friend Leah, who I knew of her from online, but like we had never really chatted or anything, bid on some Cormo that I had. And I was like, because I listed stuff that like I knew people would want, right? So I was like, I had 2 skeins of this Cormo. I don't even remember where it came from. I think I had some kind of yarn subscription years ago, and there was these 2 skeins of Cormo in this cornflower colorway, and she bid on it and she won. And she messages me and she's like, hey, and there was some Malabrigo and stuff too that she had bid on that she won. She's like, hey, so I want you to keep the Cormo and make something beautiful with it. Like, and I was like, I actually really wanted to knit Haley and I cabled hats out of this Cormo, because Cormo, I don't really even know that much about it, but it is like unbelievable. It is bouncy AF. It is like, it's so good. So I also don't remember the pattern, but I will put it here because I'm fancy like that. I can do that now. It is a cable and lace pattern. And I'm not super versed or experienced in either cables or lace. But I think I did a pretty dang good job. And thank you, Leah. She's Gratitude Knits on Instagram. The nicest people, y'all. Y'all are the nicest. And it is slouchy. And I still have the other skein. Like, you can wear it however you want. And just... I realize I should probably put, like, my iPad closer up here. But I can't. So I'm not going to. But there's a couple days during the winter here where it'll be like 50 or 40 or maybe like 30, and it'll be like morning time when it's 30, right? Because once the sun comes out, it warms up. But we'll be like, oh my gosh, we have to go to just like 7-Eleven, or we have to go somewhere just so we can like wear hats and gloves and stuff. So before next winter, I am going to make my daughter Haley a matching hat, and she's probably gonna hate it because she probably doesn't want to be matchy-matchy with me. But, like, if we're just going to go to Target or something, she don't care. So that will be awesome. So I got some cable needles from Crazy Sock Lady Co. I don't even think I showed you guys these. These are technically finished, but I still didn't weave in the ends. So my March Yarnable box, which was my very first Yarnable box, had this beautiful speckled skein and this mini from Arkansas Yarn Co., who I just got introduced to. And I'm like, where have I been? Because I've been watching like We Share Needles podcast, and they're talking about Arkansas Yarn Co., and she is the sweetest lady. Lori, oh my gosh. Anyways, this green, and I was like, okay, this mini has to go with this speckled skein, and this skein has to be some kind of like lace or cables. So this is the Fairy Maiden pattern by This Handmade Life. Again, I'll link it in the description below, and I'll put it on the screen as well. But like, I was so proud of myself. This pattern sock is beautiful. I don't remember if I altered the heel to do an Eye of Partridge. I think I did. I don't think it called for an Eye of Partridge. I could be wrong, but I did an Eye of Partridge, heel flap, and then just like a little bitty baby detail, green, right before the toe, and a little bitty baby detail at the top of the cuff. You guys, I have to weave the ends in so I can wear these. Although I might like put them in my box of socks that are like holiday for keep these for next St. Patrick's Day. So I mean, technically that's like another finished object. I don't know. It's blocked. Just I have to weave the ends in. What is wrong with me? I don't really mind weaving ends in either. Like I can do it fast, especially on like a sock. I don't know. I tend to just like sometimes knit things and then just like abandon them, or just put them aside, move on to something else. It's a whole issue, but I'm kind of trying to be like, you know what? I don't have too many sock whips. I just don't have enough needles and to cast on all the things I want. So I got some more needles. And I got these also from Crazy Sock Lady Co. I am a magic loop girl. I tease because I love, okay? So if anybody asks me like, what's the best method to knit socks? And I'll be like, well, there's magic loop, and then there's all the wrong methods. But I say it with love. I really do. I have knit with DPNs. I switch it up. I haven't been able to get my hands used to 9-inch circs, but I really want to. I don't know why. I've knit one entire pair of socks on 9-inch circs, and my gauge was super loose. And I don't know why I feel like it's something I should be able to do. Like, once I got to the stockinette section on those socks, they flew. So I really want to get the hang of it. So, oh my gosh, I have to tell you about this colorway too. God, I'm a mess. Anyway, I got size 0s because Kay had mentioned, like, on her, I think it was on her tutorial for 9-inch circulars, maybe, that she goes down in needle size because her gauge is looser too. So my only goal for summer sock camp is to knit a pair of socks on 9-inch circs. And I'm going to do it with my last month. So I believe this was the April Yarnable. No, this was May. Yarnable box. Avocardio. So I'm gonna knit vanilla socks. I'm not gonna try to do like a pattern sock with 9-inch circs. And that's my really only goal, because if I set these like lofty goals for myself for summer sock camp, I'll let myself down and then I'll feel sad and disappointed because I just don't have a lot of knitting time. I just don't. Like, I'll knit between dye pans, but a lot of times in between dye pans, I'm having to like make my grandma lunch or pick up a kid or do laundry or whatever. So if I make that one goal for that whole summer and I meet it, I'll be like, yes, I knit an entire pair of socks on 9-inch circs in 3 months. And that's amazing. So I had mentioned before that I was watching We Share Needles podcast, and they were talking about how for their sock tubes, they like to cast on the cuff, knit the cuff, and then Kitchener it to the sock tube. And I was like, brilliant, because I would much rather cast on, like my German twisted cast on, chef's kiss. It's very good. I can do it very fast, and I feel kind of like a badass when I do it. I can do Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, and I don't mind it too much, but it does flare. It does kind of bother me. I used to knit exclusively toe-up socks, and I was just like, I guess this is just what it is when you knit toe-up socks, right? And then when I started knitting cuff down, I was like, oh, this is so much better. So this is my sad attempt this morning, because I messaged them on Instagram, and I was like, I can't picture how to Kitchener a cuff to a sock tube. And I don't know why, because, I can Kitchener all day, every day, blindfolded. But, like, I couldn't figure it out. So I'm like, okay, I just have to, like, and they go, well, you just do it. Like, so I was like, okay. So I had this tube that I had already separated. We'll talk about this colorway in a minute. I'd already separated this tube, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna try before I like knit a whole cuff and like try to figure it out. So I took my 2 9-inch circs, I picked up the stitches, and I started the Kitchener. This is a hot mess. But so I'm like, okay, I get it now. Cool. I'm gonna separate this tube again because I'm going to cast on a cuff and try to do that. This sock, it's the same colorway, and I picked up for the cuff, and I'm knitting it as if it were like a toe up, right? So with this one, I'm gonna just go ahead and do Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. It's fine. I will cut in an afterthought heel, but I'm gonna cut in a shadow wrap heel. Again, like some things that seem so obvious, I'm kind of like, can you even do that? Like, I've done afterthought heels before, like how you would knit a toe, but I never cut in a short row heel. And I'm like, I think you just knit it and then Kitchener it. And I did that on another pair of socks that I'll show you. So that's the plan for this. This is a random mini that I dyed with like the leftover dye from this. Now let's just let's talk about this for a minute. Can we? Shall we? I dye self-striping yarn. I'm starting to dye other yarns because it's fun and I can, and it's not as time consuming and as like meticulous. It's a little bit more, I always say like it's more artsy. It's not. This is art, but it's just a little bit more like water painty. It's just a different technique, right? So oh my gosh, you guys, I have to tell you a story. There's this lady, she is crazy. I have to tell you what happened and what she did. You're not gonna believe it. So there's this lady who is absolutely crazy. You may know her, she's the crazy sock lady. You guys, my yarn is gonna be at Crazy Sock Lady Co. I know. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. So I had reached out to Kay before Christmas and had said, hey, you know, I'm kind of thinking about like a wholesale, and I just was putting feelers out. Like I'm not really ready for it yet. Maybe after the first of the year, let me get through Christmas, but I just want to see like if it's even a possibility. And she was like, yeah, totally, you know, let me know when you're ready and we'll talk. And then Christmas, and then shingles, and all the things. So I'm back up and running, and I'm like, the summer sock camp is coming up. I was like, hey, so, you know, wholesale inquiry, like I just emailed her. I was so nervous, and I don't know why, like she's the nicest ever, but I was really nervous because it takes a lot to just like put yourself out there and put yourself open for maybe like a no, or like it's scary to go ahead and like do the big scary thing, right? So anyways, I emailed Kay and she was like, yeah. And I'm like, what if I did like an exclusive CSL, an exclusive Crazy Sock Lady self-striping colorway? And she was like, let's do it. So this is the exclusive self-striping colorway by Pretty Twisted Yarns for Crazy Sock Lady Co. This will only be available in her shop, and she is going to make it available for the kickoff, the launch of Summer Sock Camp 2022, which is May 28th. So she has said that so these will be available at her in person, which follow her on Instagram and YouTube for all the details on Summer Sock Camp. It's her knit along. And this is not like Summer Sock Camp exclusive, but it's Crazy Sock Lady exclusive. So this will not be in my shop. This will only be at Crazy Sock Lady Co. And I have named this Pretty Crazy, because Pretty Twisted Yarns and Crazy Sock Lady. So I was like, oh my gosh, like what colors should I do? I didn't, like I kind of had an idea, and she's like, I don't know, like you're the artist, pinks, purple, burgundies, because like, you know, she's all about the burgundy and the pink and the purple and the rosy Jeep. So I was like, oh my gosh, my favorite color is pink. I don't know if you knew this or not. And she does the like purple thing. So I was like, okay, perfect, I got it. And I went all out for this colorway because it's not only self-striping, there is a speckled stripe in there, which is a whole nother process. I dye my skeins individually in mason jars, and I steam set them. So I did a very, very pale pink base color for this stripe. And then once it was cooled in the jars, I had to wash it, rinse it, dry it, and then put it in a dye pan for the speckling. I love it so much, you guys, because it's like the pink and the purple. I don't know, I just love it so much. So yeah, if that's the thing that's happening, anxiety much? I'm good. It's fine. It's all good over here. So this I am knitting as if it were toe up. I think I already said that. So I'm just gonna do Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy by Enough. It's fine. Short row heel, cutting it in. I already said all that jazz. And then here is this craziness, which is gonna get taken apart. I will get all of these sock tubes done, you guys. Like, what is wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I realized that, like, if I focused on one project instead of 100, I'd have so many more finished objects. But what fun would that be? It is so fun to just, like, cast on a new project and see how the yarn knits up. It is so much fun. When I started learning how to dye yarn in, like, 2017, I don't know this to be a fact or anything, but the tutorials and stuff I was watching at the time, planned pooling and pooling was not really like sought after. The people who I looked up to and like sort of learned from, it was, you know, how to get not pooling, to do the color in such a random way that the colors don't pool, which is awesome. And I did a lot of colors like that. Now, and I think a lot of the people like Jinx Yarns and different things that I learned from were kettle dyed. And at least I didn't see pans. And that's a lot of dyers dye with pans now in this style. And that may have been the case back then too. I just didn't know about it. So I did a lot of kettle dyeing back in the day. And then now I have pans, and when I dye something and I'm like, oh, if I dye it like this, like how's that gonna knit up in a sock? I have no idea how this would knit up in a sweater, although I think it would be beautiful. But like everyone else is probably like, yeah, Teresa, cool, it spirals. But I'm like, oh my God, it's so cool. So I'm having a lot of fun in the dye pans. A lot of fun. Speckling, I've always loved speckling. Even when I do a kettle dye, I'll just like speckle powder in there and just like play with it. But I've been speckling a lot. It's very, very much fun. Here's another thing I wanted to show you. With my sock tubes and my full socks that I'm knitting on my sock machine, I use a couple of tools to help me with sizing. For my samples, I just make myself socks because it's like a woman's 7. That works well on a 64 stitch. It fits me. They don't fit my daughters. Well, they fit Haley, and I've made her some socks. They don't really fit Caitlin. I can make them fit Dave. He probably needs a 72 stitch cylinder. But anyways, I got this Sock It To Me shoe size to sock length conversion guide, which is just a super handy laminated conversion guide that you look up your shoe size in inches or centimeters or whatever it may be, and then it tells you your foot size in inches. And then I got this handy dandy. This is by, wait a minute, it's a cute like Crazy Cat Designs. This is by Crazy Cat Designs. I got this from Crazy Sock Lady Co. And it's a little like magnifying thing that you hold, and it magnifies your stitches. This is not like a good example, but it helps you get your stitch count. Not your stitch count, your gauge. So when you're knitting a sock tube or you're knitting on your circular sock machine, you've got to know like how many rows are to inches so that you can knit your foot the appropriate length. So these have come in really handy for me in my sock knitting life. Crazy Cat Designs. So I just got like a lot of these little tools. Also, I had a sock ruler like way back in the day, and I still have it, but I lost it. How do you lose a sock ruler, Teresa? Anyways, I got another sock ruler. And these work super well also for like measuring hats. So I knit mostly like accessories. I've never knit a garment for myself. Nope. Because I'm a big adult human and I don't wear sweaters that much. I've knit Caitlin sweaters, who's my youngest daughter, and she's teeny tiny. Even at 10, she's tall now, but she's teeny tiny, skinny. And I've knit her sweaters. I've knit her a couple like tank tops, dresses when she was like a toddler, and different things. I've crocheted a ton of amigurumi, pillows. I used to crochet like the character hats for my kids. So I do a lot of like accessories and socks and the occasional shawl. That takes me 2 years. It's okay though. Break time. This is a long one. So I have this sock. Oh my God, you guys. Freaking Hot Mess Express. In a bag by Stitching Plaza. Freaking how perfect. How perfect is this? I love it so much. And I have it. I have like these Notions tins in like all of my bags. Because there are a lot of project bags. It's fine though. Listen, a skein of yarn is self-care. Look it up. It's true. And it's less expensive than therapy. So there's worse things. Like, my family's okay with this, right? Okay. So I cannot remember if I showed these on the last podcast. I know I showed them on Instagram, but this was my very first club self-striping colorway. My club is called the Super Secret Society of Self-Striping Sock Knitters. And we're using the hashtag SSS. KSSSC, Super Secret Society. Okay, SSO. Okay, hashtag SSSO, Super Secret Society of Self-Striping Sock Knitters. Okay, so we're using the hashtag. I'm gonna put it right here because I'm not able to say it on demand. S S S O S S S K. Because I can't make it easy on y'all. But if I spelled that all out as a hashtag, that would be a lot more. So this is be a freaking unicorn. Because listen, always be yourself. No matter what. Rude. They are mowing the lawn outside. Oh my gosh. I feel like a real podcaster now. Like this is really happening. Ugh. Oh well. Be a freaking unicorn. Be yourself always, unless you have the opportunity at some point in your life to be a unicorn. Then I highly recommend you just go ahead and be a unicorn. And this also has speckles, but I did a different speckle technique. I didn't do these like with powder. I did it with a eyedropper, and I dropped liquid dye on here for these speckles. And I think a lot of people were surprised because I guess I do a lot of like really bright Lisa Frank, neon, disco party tech colors, bright, bold, vivid. But I want to be like a well-rounded dyer. And even though this is pastel, it's not like pale pastel. And I kept on looking at this bag that I have from Georgianne of Stitching Plaza. Hi, Georgianne. And I kept looking at it and I was like, I need to make this into a self-striping colorway. 100%, absolutely. I've had this bag for years. I mean, it's so cute. So, thank you everybody who is part of the super secret society of self-striping sock knitters. I'm looking into I've had requests to make it just like a subscription, like monthly thing, and I am vetting that on Shopify. I'm kind of like growing as I go with my own website. It's super simple right now, and then I'm learning as I go, because if I had to sit down and like figure everything out, I'd never ever have opened my own shop, and I am so glad I did. So glad. But that's just kind of how I am. Like I said, I put so much like creative effort and energy into colorways, because when I make a colorway, I dye it and re-dye it. I keep a skein, I knit it into a sock to make sure I like how it knits up, and then I block it to make sure that it has very minimal bleeding. It's hand-dyed yarn. I can't guarantee there's no bleeding, but use color catchers. But I try to make sure that it's like minimal as possible. So because I put a lot of effort in, I already said this, but because I put so much effort into that, like the last thing I want to do at the end of the day is sit down for like 5 hours or whatever trying to like design a website. But I'm learning a lot as I go, so that's all you can ask for, man. So the second sock has been cranked and I'm working on the toe. This one I also did just a 2x2 rib for the cuff and Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. Now, you know, my Jenny's surprisingly isn't horrible. Like, you know, it's pretty good. It's not too bad. So because I already did this one this way, that's how I'm going to knit this sock, how I'm going to finish this sock. Yeah, and then I think if I really like casting on and knitting a cuff and Kitchenerring it to the sock tube, I might start doing that. We'll just have to see. I kind of like to switch it up a little bit just so I don't get like bored, I guess. Is my pile done? I think it's time to show you the yarn that's going to be available tomorrow on my website, prettytwistedyarns.com. By the way, everywhere you can find me online is going to be in the description box below, because I'm fancy and I know how to do these things now. So yes, also too, not just the self-striping exclusive Crazy Sock Lady colorway, she's also getting an order of some speckled, variegated, Pretty Twisted yarns as well. So excited. I almost have a heart attack. Okay. It is time, my friends, to show you what is going to be in the Pretty Twisted Yarns shop update tomorrow, May 20th. Okay, so this is Sunset Cliffs. This will be available. Ready to ship. Oh my gosh, aren't they so pretty? This was super fun to dye. Oh my gosh. I love them so much. I also have a skein of a colorway that is called Ready or Not. It is just a beautiful, like very, well, kind of tonal / variegated, like peachy, pinky colorway with some itty bitty like greens in there. And check out the sparkle. Sometimes it seems like it's catching it really good today. My sparkle base has 10% stellina. Most sparkle bases have 5%, so it is more sparklier than your average bear. So this is called Ready or Not. What do I have on Stardust? So my Stardust base is my other sparkle base, and this has lurex in it, so it's not stellina. So this is plied in, so it sort of barber pulls a little bit more. And I have these skeins that are called One Hit Wonder. It's just a really pretty like pinky purple with some green speckles and some blue speckles. And speckles are all over the place. So I'm gonna have One Hit Wonder, This colorway I dyed, and it is called Humid, because it just looks like jungle and water and Florida and humid. Look at it. Look at that. Stop. Like, so good. It's so good. And this is dyed on my Lavish base, which is 85% extra fine superwash merino, 19.5 microns, so soft and squishy. 15% nylon. So still super great for socks. Feels like buttered kittens on your feet. Like the softest thing you could ever possibly imagine. So pretty. And then I have mulled wine. Oh my gosh, yes. Look at this. I have mulled wine on Stardust. Like, I need a sweater out of this. Yeah? Mulled wine. Because I'm trying to, like, develop some, like, autumnal colorways, even though it's, like, spring going into summer, because I want to have them developed and, like, go hard for fall, because, yo, fall is, like, my jam. I'm an October baby. Fall's my jam. And, like, I kind of want, so Kay has some coming to her. There's going to be some mulled wine at Crazy Sock Lady Co. on Lavish with no sparkle. And, like, how pretty would those be together? If either this was, like, sparkle or this was not sparkle. Yeah? Huh. I can't even. Okay, I also have something kind of new and fresh and fun. I am thinking about offering a tube cranking service for my yarn. Like, not send me your yarn and, like, have your stash cranked, but, like, if you buy a skein of my yarn, I will crank it into a tube. I don't have that service yet, but I thought I would start with having some sock tubes available for purchase. And this is a 100-gram skein of a colorway that I dye. It is called Peacenik because it's very boho. This is dyed on my Shiver base. The Stelina's not picking up too much on this, but it is a Sabargale. I also have another sock tube. And this is a colorway that I have called Koalina, which is a spot in Hawaii. That's very, very beautiful. So I have both of these 100-gram skeins cranked into a 64-stitch sock tube. So we'll see how those go. We'll see how that goes. Oh my gosh, I did not skein it up. Maybe if I'm fancy enough, I'll put a picture right here. I had some tangled skeins that I untangled from when I was learning how to warp yarn. And I finally got around to detangling them and figuring out what's going on. So I was like, this is a 5-striper. So I went ahead and dyed one skein of There's a Beetle in My Juice, which is my Beetlejuice colorway. I have one skein of self-striping ready to ship for tomorrow's update. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully I didn't forget too much. This is already going to be a super long episode. You guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you so much. If you wouldn't mind, and you find me somewhat enjoyable, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would love to get to the point where I can go live on YouTube and do cranking and do dye with me's, or just be like, hey, what's up? That would be super enjoyable. So if you could subscribe to my channel, I would so appreciate it. And like this video, leave a comment below. Let me know what you're working on. Let's chit chat, yo. With all that, you guys, Crazy Sock Lady Co. Summer Sock Camp 2022, May 28th. Pretty Twisted Yarns will be there. Tomorrow, May 20th, I have a very small ready to ship shop update. Thank you guys so much again. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.